You only really need to get to 8 closings per month. You only need 4 lead generation levers installed. So it could be database touch. It could be agent brand authority builder. It could be our expired direct response marketing system. It could be our FSBO equivalent. That is enough to get to 4, at least 1 transaction per lead gen lever, but upwards of 2 plus transactions per lead gen lever. So if you've been at this business long enough and you fail to scale, it's likely that you haven't actually built out systems in your business so that you can generate enough opportunity to do the 5 steps that I'm going to go through here. You just got to do the work. All right. Do you struggle to generate enough leads to sell enough homes, meet with enough clients to make the kind of money that you want to in your real estate business? In today's video, I'm going to go through a very simple funnel. It's not what you think, but this funnel is going to let you know exactly what you need to do, the exact lead sources to focus on, and the exact activities that you need to manage in your business on the daily to generate enough opportunities to meet with enough would-be buyer and seller clients to sell any amount of homes that you want to sell. I've had months where we've done over 40 transactions using this funnel, but anywhere from 20 to 30 transactions per month. And I worked a whole lot less than, I got down to way less than 20 hours a week. And folks that have been in our world for, the early folks that came into Real Estate B School when I launched Real Estate B School back in 2013 to even our folks that are coming into $1 Million Agent Method now are all using this funnel. And like I said, it's not what you think. My name is Lars Hedenborg. I'm the founder of Real Estate B School, and I obsess over making systems simple enough for agents to install in their business so they can give up cold calling, they can give up paid leads, they can give up referral sources that are charging 30 to 40+% on closings just because they're better marketers, right? We want to say, I'll give you 30, 40% at closing. I'll pay for leads. We have some agents will cold call, there's whole systems built around cold calling. We do none of that. So let me share my screen and I want to get into it. So here is what I want to go through. And like I said, it's kind of not what you would expect. Let me get the best view on here. And so agents obsess over the left side of this funnel. And what lead sources should I focus on? We have 12 lead generation levers, we call them in Real Estate B School. The first one we help folks that come into our world is our database touch blueprint. Folks that have implemented that lead gen lever are doing over 7 figures in a single year, every year on that one lead gen lever. Agent brand authority builder, which is how do you actually use social media to generate business? Those are 2 of 12 lead gen levers that we teach. And so there is no shortage on things you could do to generate business. The question is, are you focusing and going deep enough on the actual systems behind those lead gen levers? Or are you looking for the easy button, right? We want to sort of press the easy button. We want to give money to someone else and you generate the leads for me, or I'll give you 40% at closing. We are generating leads overall, probably closer to 5% than 10%, but a whole lot less than 10% of your commission check at scale should go to lead generation, actually generating leads, right? And you only really need to get to 8 closings per month. You only need 4 lead generation levers installed. So it could be database touch. It could be agent brand authority builder. It could be our expired direct response marketing system. It could be our FSBO equivalent. That is enough to get to 4, at least 1 transaction per lead gen lever, but upwards of 2 plus transactions per lead gen lever. So I'm not going to get into all of the mechanics of how we install those systems, but just know that if you've been at this business long enough and you fail to scale, it's likely that you haven't actually built out systems in your business so that you can generate enough opportunity to do the 5 steps that I'm going to go through here. So this video is not about the lead sources, the lead gen levers, as we call them, but just know that if you're not in the game and you don't have a consistent flow of organic, inbound, high quality buyer and seller leads and referrals, that's the first thing that we need to tackle. If that resonates with you, then definitely book in a call. So the first step here, and I'm going to take my head out of here, is, when you look at the 5 things that need to happen, agents get tripped up between 4 and 5. But let's say you're in a position where you've got your leverage lead gen levers running. And so there's more leads coming in than you could possibly handle. That has to be on autopilot for all of this to work, right? So when I challenge an agent, to time block and have, and we call it new business development, and it comes in 2 flavors, the first conversation and the follow-up conversations. But when I challenge an agent to sit down and have meaningful conversations with their leads, most of them will say, what leads? Like, I'm not generating any leads. So again, the first thing, and we spend most of our 13-week $1 million agent method is only a 13-week implementation, done with you implementation. We build the systems out in your business. So again, if you're at the point where nothing is working on the top of funnel, then we have to have a conversation. But the next thing that you need to do on the daily is apply the discipline to have those conversations. There is not a way to set it and forget it, and magically you're going to close 2, 3, 4, 6, 8 transactions per month, right? We focus on scaling, which is building out the systems. You still need to put yourself in a position where you're going to apply the discipline on the daily to have the meaningful conversations and have a CRM to organize all of that and your follow-ups. And 90% of folks aren't ready to transact, right? They're not ready to meet with you and earn you a commission check within 30 days of generating that lead. So your follow-up sequences and even your lead management protocol, your lead protocols are really critically important. And that's something that we work on as well. So meaningful conversations, will you do the work? That's number 1. And if I were to ask you, if in a coaching session, I asked you in the last 7 days, how many meaningful conversations did you have, which is a 2-way conversation with a decision-making adult about real estate. And if you answer anything less than 20 meaningful conversations a day, 5 days a week, 100 meaningful conversations, chances are you're not setting enough appointments, which is the second step here, right? We don't cold call. So I'm not talking about just cold calling and counting that as a meaningful conversation. So I'm talking high quality, warm leads that are ready to have a conversation about real estate. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 is appointment set, right? So you're generating leads, you're having conversations. So those are number 1, the contact, setting consultations. So can you, and this comes down to scripts and dialogues, have you put in the reps, or are you following a process from an appointment setting process where you can compel prospects to take action, right? That is the question. More often than not, if you're having, let's say 50 meaningful conversations a week. So let's say you're sitting down for 2 hours every day and you're applying some discipline and you're having 50 meaningful conversations. Are you setting 2 consultations or appointments? We call them consultations. Our sequence, we want to get to the point with a solo agent. And if you have other agents on your team and they're not setting enough consultations, but to put you in a position where you have enough leads coming in as a solo agent, where you're setting an appointment every day. So 5 consultations a week, you're meeting 4, you're signing 3. And it works out to better numbers than that, but roughly that's what you'll expect. So you're bringing in 3 new clients every week. That's 100 new clients, 100 new listings a year. Game over, right? You could leverage yourself out of the buyer side and you'll have $1 million business very, very fast. So are you applying the discipline, having the meaningful conversations? Are you saying the right things, compelling prospects to agree to a meeting? And then it just naturally flows into the third stage here, which is, appointments met. So will a would-be buyer or seller client show up pre-sold on your services? So again, this is part of the appointment setting process. Are you sending out a pre-appointment packet to buyers? Are you sending out a pre-list packet to sellers with a very intentional process and very intentional marketing pieces that put you in a position where you're the authority going into those appointments? Right? So will they show up and be excited about it? When you set that consultation, do you have a checklist on how to increase the chances that they show in their pre-sold? Do you send a video? with a script on every time you set a buyer consultations or seller consultation. These are the things that we think about when you want to look to scale your business and to sell an unreasonable amount of homes in a reasonable amount of time. That's what I sought to do in my real estate business. And that's what we teach in our $1 Million Agent Method. So appointments met. Then when you meet with them, 80% of the time at scale, not with your best friend or your neighbor, but at scale with people that are just barely warmed up to you, are they signing? Is there enough value to do business with you? So do they sign to be a client of yours? Right? So you're generating way too many leads, right? So we've already checked the box on that. That's the heavy lift in $1 Million Agent Method. Are you having the conversations? Are you setting appointments? Are they meeting with you? Do they see the value to do business with you? Are they signing? Right? So set, met, signed. Set, met, signed. That is the cadence. Then you have a buyer client or a seller client. And the mistake most agents make is that they spend all of their time servicing that client. So they sign a client, sign a listing, sign a buyer, and then they spin out on getting them from agreeing to do business with you to getting them to the closing table. And most of you, this video is outside of the scope of how I would train on this piece here. This is in our $1 Million Agent Method. We have 4 pillars. It's leveraged lead generation, which is everything on the left side of funnel here. Then we have the appointment setting process, which is 2 and 3. Then we have the consultation frameworks, which is 4 here. Then the last pillar is leveraged client care. So if you spend all of your time servicing buyers and sellers, you're not going to put yourself in a position where you could put more time into the most dollar productive things you could do in your business, which again, it's a little bit outside the scope here, but I had to mention that if you're in a position where your whole days go to, working with existing clients, you're not in the game. You're playing a game that we could teach you how to play a different game, but you can't spin out in servicing clients because generally that's really, really critically important work, but you can get some leverage, automations, and delegations around most of that, right? So that's the 5-step process. Generate more leads than you could possibly work with. You're having conversations with them. If they're ready to go, you're setting an appointment. If they're not, you're putting them in your lead nurture sequence, text sequences, email sequences, sending them market snapshots, whatnot. Then they're meeting with you. They're pre-sold on working with you. You're signing them 80% of the time at your desired commission, your transaction fees. And then you've got hopefully some leverage on the client care side. You're getting them closed, and you do it in a way where the service you provide is world-class service. So not just like I did a decent job, but you've contemplated what would it look like to have a world-class experience with a real estate professional, and you have all of those systems documented, and you actually deliver it in such a way where they're blown away working with you, right? You do that right, so you'll have a client for life. The back end of this funnel is that you get someone to have an experience with you that they couldn't have imagined being any better systematically, so that you could do it at scale. If you do all of this right, your business will take care of itself because that person can turn into 2 to 3 additional transactions. We want your signing a client to getting them closed to be so well laid out and scripted. And if this is sort of a foreign concept to you, don't sweat it. It might not even be in the first thing that we work on if we were ever to engage for a 13-week build out of the $1 Million Agent Method. But just know that there's a different game that you can decide to play, even when it comes to signing a client, a buyer or seller client, and getting them to the closing table, getting them under contract and then to the closing table. I'm going to take my face off here. I want you to take a screenshot of this. I want you to print this out. This is the game that you have to play if you want to dominate in real estate. I mean, dominate in real estate. So you heard me drop hints the whole video. I'm unashamed about the work we do in $1 Million Agent Method. If you're at the point where you've achieved like a traditional level of success in real estate, and you've got, I want to go from 1 transaction to 2, 3, 4, maybe 6, 8 plus transactions. Or if you've already let people into your world and you don't have the systems built out and you're trying to scale a team, but you don't even have your core systems built out for your own business, it's not good. It's not going to be good. I just had a call with a guy that's coming into, he just signed up today, Million Dollar Agent Method. And this is his situation. He's figured out how to play the game at a high level. Now he has agents coming in. He has 10 agents and he outsells those 10 agents with his own production because he hasn't systemized things yet, right? So, and we work with agents that are just starting to scale and agents that are doing 5 transactions per month, but they want to succeed through others. So wherever you are in your journey, go to milliondolaragentmethod.com. There's a 7-minute video to watch there. If it resonates with you and you don't want to cold call anymore, you don't want to do open houses where nobody shows up, you don't want to pay for leads, you don't want to pay referral sources, referral fees to the different referral sources out there, it's definitely time that we do something together. So milliondollaragentmethod.com. We'll see you over there. Much love, much respect. We'll see you on the next video.